Hey, my name is Helen, and you're listening to Sincere Podcast, where I usually break down books and inspiring people. But in today's episode, due to the Charlie Kirk shooting, I thought that I could actually speak on stress and what Orna Guralnick, the famous couples therapist, if you've never watched couples therapy, highly recommend watching it because it's so good. But Orna Guralnick basically talks about the concept of a split self in today's political sphere. So many people are not only thinking about themselves, but about the greater community that is the United States. So much of our community is American. But if you're not, I hope that this helps you, because this episode is all about 3 analog ways that have personally helped me cope and work through a lot of today's political climate: journaling, self-expression, and being able to have a post-it system. I have post-its all over my table today because I have had thoughts just coming up as I write things down. But in the past, journaling has been really helpful for me in going through mental health crises, teenage angst, and even romantic dating life. And I hope today this will help you. But point number 1 is just keeping a pocket notebook. I really love pocket notebooks. I've been journaling, like I said, for my entire life, but pocket notebooks have really helped me take away my phone from the equation. I think that in so much of our day-to-day life, our phones have just been attached as a second limb to our pockets. And so I have 2 of them today. This is called my System 1 brain, and this is called my System 2 brain. So if you're listening on audio, basically I'm holding up a really thin field notes notebook where I keep track of my immediate thoughts. I have what's called a daily 8 journal, where I write down 8 things that I need to do every day for my job. And I also have a 1 sentence reflection to help me figure out what I'm grateful for that day. And I also keep a habit tracker on my notebook to help me guide what habits I need to keep exercising. I've always had a hard time focusing. I've never had a hard time getting things done, but I've had a hard time focusing. And so being able to have a relationship pen to paper, take a ton of notes, have been super helpful for me. Going analog in a digital age, I don't have to look for anything or scroll for anything. Everything is easy access on my desk. I'm going to probably give you an overview of what my desk looks like, but I really love the analog life. It's probably because I grew up in a day and age where the iPhone, the iPad, the MacBook Air, all of that stuff just became like easy access, and they're very sought after in our society. But I've kind of gone the other way because I've noticed that the analog life has worked far better for me. So point number 2, having a post-it system, keeping track of daily things. Now, why is a post-it system going to help me with my stress reduction and with what's going on in the world? I think that sometimes going beyond our brains carry so much information every day. A study has shown that we make thousands, if not hundreds, of decisions daily. So taking things out of your brain and into, I put it on my wall where you can't see it. So what that does is it helps me come back to something later on. My friend Esther actually has a jar system where she puts her thoughts in a jar and she revisits them later if she feels like she has no time or mental space to think about it. Now, this is not something that's new. It's something that's pretty ancient. People for hundreds, if not thousands of generations have been documenting their thoughts onto pieces of paper. It's only now that we're documenting them onto digital substances or digital things. And what I found is that it's been very ineffective for me to keep track of everything on digital, regardless of how innovative it is. I'm using quotation marks for those who are listening via audio. Digital is wonderful. I think that it gives so many people easy connections and access if you do need to share that document. But for me, having a post-it system is something fun. It's colorful. And I think if I want to have a conversation with a friend, I use Post-its as a way to remember to write them down on my journal. And finally, number 3, self-expression in how I dress and in how I carry my space is something that helps me. I think in our day and age, so many of us are taught to fear other people. Political divisiveness is now rampant now more than ever. People getting hated on, people getting accused of X, Y, and Z. And so being able to curate a space where I can invite people in, have a meal with them, be able to commune with others and engage in really healthy dialogue, I think is the future. With the proliferation of AI and technology, I really do believe that we are being challenged to come back to our humanity. And as a Christian, as a spiritual person myself, I really do think that loving others from a generous place, from a place of understanding, starts with inviting people over to your home, curating a really homey space, being able to care for yourself as a healthy vessel. So those are the 3 things that have really helped me in my day-to-day life. I love notebooks. I love curating my home and inviting people into my space. I love Post-its. Let me know, is there anything else that's analog that has helped you? I'm continuing to develop my toolkit. But if you enjoyed this content, make sure you like, subscribe, share this to someone that it might help. And by no means is this a way to cope with or heal anything. It's just a way to look inward and to understand your internal work. So my name is Helen Garcia. Thank you for listening to this podcast and YouTube video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.